Brother, there are 5 specific parts of your body that a woman's eyes lock onto in the first 7 seconds, and she has absolutely no conscious control over it. Not your face, not your height, not what most men waste years obsessing over in the mirror. This isn't about tricks. It's not about pickup lines or some alpha male checklist your buddy sent you from a Reddit thread. That stuff belongs in the garbage. What we're talking about today goes deeper. We're talking about the raw reality of female psychology, the silent signals her nervous system is reading off your body before you've said a single word. And here's the transformation promise I'm making you right now. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what a woman's subconscious is scanning for, why it's primal and chemical and completely out of her logical control, and how to make sure every single one of these 5 body parts is working for you, not against you. Most men will never know this. You're about to. Let's start with the truth almost no one talks about. When a woman walks into a room, a party, a coffee shop, a work event, it doesn't matter. Her nervous system begins an instant, involuntary scan of every man present. She's not thinking about it. She's not making a list. Her subconscious mind is doing the work for her, running a biological program that has been hardwired into the female brain for tens of thousands of years. She cannot stop it. She doesn't even know it's happening. And most men, they are completely invisible to that scan. Not because they're unattractive, not because they're too short or too old or not wealthy enough. They're invisible because they've never been taught what that scan is actually looking for. They walk into rooms thinking women notice what men notice. And brother, that is the single most costly mistake a man can make. I want you to have a flash moment of recognition right now. Think about the last time you were around a woman you were genuinely attracted to. You groomed. You wore something decent. You were ready. And somehow, she barely registered that you existed. She laughed with someone else. She leaned toward someone else. And you stood there trying to figure out what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know what she was reading. That ends today. Here's what the research tells us. And this part matters because we're not operating on opinion here. Studies in evolutionary psychology and social neuroscience consistently show that female attraction is processed in a fundamentally different part of the brain than male attraction. Men respond primarily to visual, immediate stimuli. Women respond to a cluster of subconscious signals: posture, movement, spatial confidence, and physical markers that communicate one core thing to her nervous system: safety, strength, presence. Her brain is biologically wired to detect these signals not through logical evaluation, but through instinctive pattern recognition. She feels it before she thinks it. Her body responds before her mind catches up. This is why a woman will sometimes say, "I don't know what it is about him," because neurologically, she genuinely doesn't know. Her nervous system already made the decision. Her conscious mind is just catching up to the result. And the 5 body parts we're going to cover today, each one is a specific input point for that neurological scan. Each one either sends a signal of masculine presence or it sends a signal of invisible. Let's go through them. Level 1, and brother, pay close attention here because most men underestimate this completely, is your hands. Her eyes go to your hands faster than almost any other part of your body, and the research on this is striking. Hands are one of the most ancient indicators of masculine utility, capability, and physical engagement with the world. A woman's subconscious reads your hands and asks a primal question: are these the hands of a man who builds things, holds things, protects things? Or are these the hands of a man who has never been asked to? This isn't about size. It's not about how soft or rough your skin is. It's about what you do with them. Men who keep their hands hidden, in pockets, crossed over their chest, gripping their drink like a life raft, are sending one signal: stillness, retreat. Subconsciously, she reads that as uncertainty, as a man who is not comfortable taking up space in the world. Men who use their hands with intention, gesturing with calm authority when they speak, resting them openly on a table, touching their own face or jaw with a kind of relaxed ownership. Those men are sending something entirely different. Her nervous system reads open hands as calm confidence, as a man who is not afraid of being seen. There's something else. The way a man handles objects, the way he picks up a glass, opens a door, adjusts something in the environment around him. If it's done with casual, unhurried competence, she notices, every time. She may not be able to tell you why she finds him compelling, but her subconscious clocked it in under 2 seconds. Start paying attention to your hands, brother. They are speaking constantly. Make sure they're saying the right thing. Level 2 is your jaw and neck, and this is where we start getting into the deeper chemical territory. The jaw and the lower face are one of the most instinctively scanned areas of a man's body because they carry dense biological information, testosterone levels, stress response, physical conditioning. The subconscious female mind is extraordinarily sensitive to the signals embedded in this region of a man's face. More sensitive, studies show, than most women would ever consciously admit. But here's what most men completely miss. It's not just the structure of the jaw that her nervous system is reading. It's the tension in it. A man who walks through the world with a clenched jaw, tight neck muscles, that grinding, braced posture of someone who's carrying invisible weight, he communicates something chemically that works against him. Cortisol, stress, a nervous system that is not at rest. And at a subconscious level, a woman's attraction response is deeply sensitive to a man's stress chemistry. She's not attracted to stress. She's repelled by it. Not consciously, not cruelly, just biologically. Now think about the man on the other end of that spectrum. Jaw slightly relaxed, neck loose. A kind of quiet physical ease that says, I am not bracing for impact. I am not afraid of what's coming. I have already decided that whatever happens, I can handle it. That's masculine presence. That's what her nervous system is reading. You don't build that with a jawline exercise or a supplement. You build it by doing the internal work, by resolving the anxiety you've been carrying, by building genuine confidence through action, by becoming a man whose nervous system is actually at rest because he has earned that rest. But, and I want you to hold this thought, there's one more layer to this that I'm going to save for the end of this video. Because the connection between her emotional surrender and your physical calm is one of the most powerful and underexplained dynamics in all of female psychology. Don't skip ahead, stay with me. Level 3. Your chest and the way you carry it. Not your chest in the gym sense, though physical health matters and we'll touch on that. I mean the architecture of how you present your chest to the world. Whether it's open or closed, whether it leads or retreats. Here's the flash moment I want you to sit with. You're talking to a woman you're drawn to. Things are going reasonably well. And then, without realizing it, your shoulders start to round forward. Your chest caves slightly inward. Your whole upper body starts to curve around itself like it's protecting something soft at the center. You've done this. We've all done this. It feels like listening. It feels like being attentive, leaning in, showing interest. But her nervous system is reading something completely different. It's reading contraction, retreat. A man whose body is apologizing for taking up space. And attraction, brother, at its most primal and chemical core, cannot live in apology. The men who generate powerful, instinctive attention from women are men whose chest is open. Shoulders back, not military rigid, not performative, just open. Like a man who has nothing to hide and nowhere he'd rather be. Like a man who is genuinely comfortable inside his own body because he has spent enough time there to make peace with it. This is about more than posture. It's about what posture reveals. Her subconscious is reading the story of how you relate to yourself. And if your body is constantly in a position of self-concealment, she reads the chapter heading before you've said a word. Open chest, soft jaw, steady hands. These 3 elements alone, when they work together, create a silent signal that hits her nervous system before conscious thought even engages. Level 4. And this one surprises men every single time I bring it up. Your eyes. Specifically, the area around your eyes. Now, before you go down the path of thinking this is about eye color or conventional attractiveness, stop. That's not what we're talking about. Her nervous system is not scanning for aesthetics here. It's scanning for something far more instinctive. It's scanning for presence. The eyes of a distracted man look a certain way, slightly unfocused, darting, processing too many things at once. A man who is checking who else is in the room, wondering how he's coming across, doing that low-level social anxiety mathematics that most men are running constantly without even realizing it. She picks this up in seconds, not because she's looking for it, because her nervous system is designed to detect it. Now imagine the opposite, a man whose eyes are completely still, not staring, not intense in a threatening way, just present. Like the room he's in is the only room that exists. Like the person he's looking at has his complete, unhurried attention. Like he is a man who has nowhere else to be and nothing to prove. Do you feel the difference? That's what she feels. Chemically, in her nervous system. A man whose eyes carry that quality of presence creates something in her that she will later describe as magnetic, or intense, or safe. She might use all three words and not understand why they all apply to the same person. The area around the eyes also carries something else. And this is the raw reality most men over 30 need to hear. The physical evidence of your relationship with sleep, with stress, with your own self-care. Puffiness, chronic tension lines, the look of a man who has been surviving rather than living, these are all readable. She's not judging consciously. Her nervous system is just gathering data. Take care of the skin around your eyes. Sleep. Reduce the stress that is aging you from the inside. Not for vanity, for the signal it sends. That you are a man who values his own well-being. And a man who values himself is a man whose presence feels like somewhere worth being. Level 5. Your feet and the way you move. Stay with me, because this is the one almost no man ever thinks about, and it might be the most revealing of all. The way a man walks into a room tells her nervous system an entire story before a single word is spoken. Not the clothes, not the haircut, the walk. The relationship between his feet and the ground. The pace. The direction of his gaze as he moves. Most men walk into uncertain social situations with what I can only describe as apologetic feet. Small steps, weight shifted slightly back. Like they're trying to disturb as little air as possible. Like they're asking permission to be present in the space they're entering. And her subconscious? It reads that story in under 3 seconds. Retreat. Uncertainty. A man who is not fully committed to being here. Now picture the man who walks differently. Not swaggering. Swagger is performance, and women are extraordinarily sensitive to performance versus reality. I mean the man who walks with a quiet, unhurried sense of direction, whose steps are even, whose pace is calm, who looks like he belongs in every room he enters because he has decided he belongs there. Feet fully connected to the ground. Body moving as one integrated unit rather than a collection of anxious parts. That walk, that specific quality of grounded, unhurried movement, triggers something deep in her nervous system, something primal, something that says this man knows who he is and where he's going. And there is almost nothing more compelling to a woman's subconscious than a man who carries that particular certainty in his body. The sacred truth almost no one talks about is this. Attraction, at its most chemical and instinctive level, is not about perfection. It's about coherence. When your hands, your jaw, your chest, your eyes, and your movement all tell the same story, the story of a man who is at home in himself, her nervous system doesn't just notice, it responds, involuntarily, completely, in ways she may not even understand herself. And now, brother, we come to the final piece, the one I told you I was saving. The deepest signal, the one that sits beneath all 5 of the others and either amplifies them to the point of total chemical surrender or quietly cancels all of them out. It's your nervous system's relationship with hers. This is the truth almost no one talks about in this space, and I want you to receive it fully. When a woman is in the presence of a man whose nervous system is genuinely, deeply calm, not performed calm, not suppressed anxiety, not the kind of tense stillness that's actually just held in fear, something extraordinary happens in her own body. Her nervous system begins to co-regulate with his. This is documented neuroscience. The human nervous system is not a closed system. It is exquisitely sensitive to the nervous systems of people around it. And the female nervous system in particular is wired with extraordinary sensitivity to the emotional and physiological state of the men in her environment. When she is near a man who is genuinely at rest, whose hands are open, whose jaw is loose, whose chest is open, whose eyes are present, whose feet are planted, her own stress response begins to drop. She starts to feel safe in a way she cannot fully explain. Her body relaxes, her guard, those invisible walls most women carry through every public space they occupy, begins to soften. That softening, brother, that is emotional surrender. Not submission, not weakness. Surrender in the most sacred sense of the word. The surrender of the part of her that has to be guarded, careful, self-protective. The surrender that only happens when a woman's subconscious has decided, this man's presence is safe. This man's presence is real. This man is not performing for me. And here's what separates the men who understand this from the men who spend decades confused and lonely. You cannot fake this. You cannot use a system to manufacture nervous system calm. You cannot adopt a posture or memorize a framework and bypass the biological intelligence of a woman who has been reading male nervous systems since she was a child. She will feel the inauthenticity before you finished your first sentence. Not consciously, instinctively. Her nervous system will recognize yours as unstable, as performed, as unsafe, and her attraction will not open. The only path to this, the only path, is the real work. The work of becoming a man who has resolved enough of his own internal conflict that his calm is genuine. The work of building a life you actually respect yourself for living. The work of facing the fears and disappointments and wounds that most men spend their entire adult lives running from, so that the peace you carry isn't a mask. It's the actual architecture of who you've become. That's what she's reading in those 7 seconds, brother. Not your car, not your status, not the version of yourself you're trying to project. She's reading whether the man in front of her is real. And the men who are real, whose calm is earned, whose presence is genuine, whose 5 body signals all tell the same coherent story, those men don't need games. They don't need scripts or tricks or any of the tactical nonsense that floods this space. They simply show up. And she feels it, immediately, completely. The chemical response is almost inevitable. You've already earned it. You just need to know what it looks like to claim it. Look, if this gave you something today, if something in this video shifted the way you understand what's actually happening in those first critical seconds of male-female dynamics, then do one thing for me. Like this video and subscribe to this channel. Not because I need the numbers, but because every subscription means one more man gets access to this level of unfiltered truth. One more man stops wasting years on surface-level advice that was never going to work. One more man starts doing the real work and building the kind of presence that actually changes his life. This knowledge should reach every man who needs it. Help make sure it does. And in our next video, we're going into something even deeper. We're going to talk about the one thing a woman says in the first 10 minutes of conversation that tells you everything about whether she is emotionally available to you, and exactly what most men do in response that ends it before it ever begins. Brother, you don't want to miss that one.